Hey guys, Sean T. Phillips here on that brand new DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. They're gonna go out today, see what things came out, see what things are on sale today. I know that some of the big releases that come out is, Pokemon Detective Pikachu. That one releases, and I know Best Buy has a exclusive steelbook of that one. Also, Batman Hush, that releases, and I think exclusive-wise, there's one, Target has an exclusive steelbook, and I think Best Buy might have one that comes with a figure, and I think the exclusive part is that they have the one that's the 4K edition with a figure. And then the one with the figure is everywhere else though, but that one is only Blu-ray, I believe. Also though, the Curse of La Llorona, that releases today as well. Also though, at the end of this video is going to be a whole bunch of brand new DVD and Blu-ray reviews. Some really, really cool stuff I received to review and talk about for you guys. Some really cool stuff, so definitely stay tuned for those at the end of this video. And also, as always too, leave me comments below letting me know what you guys thought of the DVDs and Blu-rays that I reviewed, if you guys have seen any of them, and also if you guys plan on picking any of them up. But anyway though guys, let's get going and see what we can find today. Into Walmart we go. And one thing I forgot to mention is since it's the first Tuesday of the month, Walmart changes out the actual section and gets in, new horror films, comedy films, action, all that kind of stuff in the actual section. So fingers crossed they actually change the stuff out and I don't have to go to a bunch of locations, because sometimes I do to find, the one location that has them all on the shelf. So we'll see. And like I was saying though, the big thing that came out today was Pokemon Detective Pikachu, and the 4K one of that one is $29.96 for that, and it's $24.96 for the Blu-ray, and then $17.96 for the DVD of that one. They also have like a pre-order thing here for it's the first Godzilla film, but then it has the Voodoo code on there for the new one for $22.96 for that. And like I said, they had the Curse of La Llorona here. That one's $22.96 for the Blu-ray, $15.96 for the DVD of that, and then they have Hush here, Batman Hush on the 4K. That one's $24.96 and $19.96 for the for the Blu-ray of that one. They also have a thing here, a pre-order as well, that has Almost Famous, and then it includes Rocket Man, the Voodoo code for that one, and that one's $22.96. I think this one comes out in 2 weeks on Blu-rays when that releases. Other than that though, over here though, don't see anything new. It doesn't, and over here I already peeked and the section wasn't changed out, so I'm gonna have to head to another Walmart though, because yeah, it's all the same stuff though from last month, so definitely heading to another location. But before we head to the other Walmart, we'll check the Target around here, but I have a bad feeling. I feel like that one might not have the stuff out either, because that one usually doesn't, but we'll see. Into Target we go. Fingers crossed. But I have a bad feeling, but we will see. We shall see. Well, they actually have this stuff here in the front of the store. They have Detective Pikachu here for $29.99 for the 4K of that one, $24.99 for the Blu-ray of that, and then $17.99 for the DVD. Also, Descendants 3, that one released today. That one's $17.99 for that one. Batman Hush, and then this is not the Steelbook one. I'll have to see if they have that one in the section though. That one's $19.99 for that one, and then $22.99 for Curse of La Llorona on Blu-ray, and Curse of La Llorona on DVD for $15.99. But we'll head over to the section though and see if they have the stuff out over there. Yeah, but over there in the actual section though, the only different stuff that they had in there was this movie called After the Storm. They had that over there. They also had the Aretha Franklin documentary Amazing Grace, as well as the film Poms. But in the actual section though, I didn't see any of the 4K or Blu-ray steelbooks. I'm not sure if it was 4K or Blu-ray for the Batman Hush. So I might head to another Target. We'll see though. But next though, gonna be heading to the other Walmart location. Hopefully we can find one that has out all the stuff. Into the second Walmart we go. And the only bad thing about this Walmart though is a majority of the stuff that's new is locked up in the new releases. But it doesn't seem like though they lock up the new, well, the actual section itself is. It seems like just the real new mainstream releases are locked up, but hopefully this one put the stuff out. We'll see. But this is what I mean about locking it all up. It's in these kind of cases here like this. But yeah, it seems like this place is doing inventory. And I looked over here in the actual section and it seems like it's all the same stuff. So we'll head to another Walmart. Yeah, when inventory is going on too, that's a lot of times too, that makes it even worse for that section to be changed. But we'll see. To the third one we go. Into the third Walmart we go. Yeah, but over here though, this one didn't even change out the stuff in the actual front. It's all the same stuff. So we'll try and head to one more, and then it's kind of like, I don't think we're gonna find it today if we don't the next one, but we'll see. But before we head to another Walmart, we're headed to Best Buy. So, into Best Buy we go. And like I was saying though, the big thing that came out was Detective Pikachu, and that one's $24.99 for the standard Blu-ray. And they have an exclusive 3D edition only available at Best Buy, and that one's $29.99 for that. That's the same price for the 4K as well. And then there's a spot there for the Steelbook, but none left. They also had The Outsider and La Llorona here as well. The Outsider was $12.99, La Llorona was $22.99. And they have Batman Hush. This is the exclusive one they have for $29.99, which has the little action figure in that one, and that's a 4K edition as well. They also had Attack on Titan, which released today, as well as Descendants 3, and that one was $17.99 for that one. And they did have a standee for Detective Pikachu, and that's the Steelbook, but yeah, none of them left. But if they had them, they would be $34.99. And this past weekend, though, the only movie that I saw in theaters was Fast and Furious Presents Hobbs Shaw, which is the spin-off movie with, The Rock's character and Jason Statham's character, and it's them having to work together because, it's about this virus that they're worried is going to get out, and the virus, Jason Statham's character's sister ends up injecting herself with this virus, and then it's about Idris Elba's character who's like a superhuman kind of guy, and he wants to get this virus, and it's this huge big to-do thing going on. It was actually a really fun movie. It's kind of like a it's not like in the basis of reality at all. It's much more like a cartoon, because things are so over the top and crazy, and it doesn't really feel like a Fast and Furious film. It just feels more like a buddy cop kind of movie, almost like that kind of vibe. And the one thing a lot of people said online too, which is kind of funny, is Jason Statham's character's sister is supposed to be maybe 3 years younger than him, and in real life there's a 20-year age gap. So it's kind of funny when they're doing the flashbacks and showing his sister is supposed to be pretty much his age as well, just a couple years younger, when in real life it just doesn't work, that aspect of it. But if you guys saw Hobbs and Shaw, though, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of the film, or what movie you saw this past weekend, if you guys got to see anything. Into the fourth Walmart we go. Well, we'll see though, and it looks like this one has out more stuff than I've seen the other ones. The other ones though, I don't believe I saw Descendants 3 at Walmart, and then over here too, they have the Aretha Franklin documentary as well that I showed at at Target. Other than that though, I see over here, let's see, I think this one was out last week, the Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark documentary for $12.96. This movie here called Cleavers, Killer Klowns. I think this one might be a sequel. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe so. This one was a sequel. I think there was a first one from a couple years back. That one's $9.96 for that. But here's where we'll tell if there's anything different at all in the actual section over here. Let's see if anything at all is different. Yeah, it seems to me like none of them have changed out the section today. I've been to all these different ones, and I'm not seeing anything new. Maybe there's not really much new, or they're just for some reason not changing them. It's really strange because all the same stuff is the stuff from last week. I think this is the one I saw on Target, so maybe this one was today. But yeah, it seems to me like it's all the same stuff from last month. I'm trying to see if there's anything else in here different besides the different things in the front. I'm not seeing anything else here different though, so it's really weird. I may look at one other one, but I feel like today it's sort of like a loss with trying to find the other stuff. Into the fifth Walmart we go. This Walmart in here though actually has a gigantic Detective Pikachu standee in here, but we're gonna go over the section though, and hopefully this one's got the stuff, but we'll see. Well, in there though, nope. So I literally have one more Walmart in this entire area, then I've been to every single one. So if that one doesn't have it, it's a real no beans. Into the final Walmart we go. Yeah, but today has been the day of Walmarts. I've never had to go to so many Walmarts. And the one way I know that there's stuff that isn't out is there's certain stuff like +1 and 1 or 2 horror titles, which I'm pretty sure they should have. And I even looked online, it says available in store for store pickup, in store today. All of them say it, so it's just so strange how every location hasn't put the things out though. Well, in here, this one, Alita's still on the top here, but they have the stuff out, but it's like weird how some of them, they're all having like one or two other things that other ones don't have. But in here though, yeah, like I feel like the only things that might have been new that they actually put out was like maybe No Man's Land might have been new today, but yeah, like this one too, all the same stuff. So definitely let me know in the comments below though if you guys went to Walmart and they had like all the stuff out in the section, because it's crazy. It seems like none of them today have changed up the section, so hopefully next week. But it's crazy that all these ones haven't had out anything new at all, at least in this area. That's like normally, because all these things right here always change. But yeah, it's crazy, all these ones and no beans. But anyway, guys, that's all for this DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. You know, this is like the first time I've ever had this happen where I literally had no luck, where I've gone to this many of them and I've never seen them put out the stuff. So this is like an absolute first that it's happened like this. But like I always say, guys, if you guys enjoy these shopping videos, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Also, let me know though if you guys went to Walmart, if your sections changed out all the stuff or was all the same kind of story you guys were going through. Also, let me know as well, what you guys picked up on DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K. If you guys picked up anything today, and also let me know what you guys thought of all the new DVDs and Blu-rays that I'm reviewing at the end of this video. What you guys thought of them, if you guys saw any of them, and also if you guys plan on picking any of them up. But anyway though, guys, thanks again for watching and subscribing. Now stay tuned for the reviews. And before we get to the reviews, I want to show you guys FYE sent over some brand new exclusive releases here. These ones you guys can get, on FYE's website or in store. And I believe the main exclusive to these are the new slipcovers on these ones, because this one here is a double feature DVD here, which has Pet Sematary. This has the new artwork for the newer release artwork on this one, as well as Pet Sematary 2. I always love these movies, but I feel like Pet Sematary 2 though is the one that I've watched so many times. Always a fan of Eddie Furlong, and I really, really like this movie. And then this one here, which is a 4-movie collection, Stephen King. And like I said, I believe like the new aspect to this is the slipcover on this. And this is a DVD that has The Dead Zone, Pet Sematary, Stephen King's Silver Bullet, and Stephen King's The Graveyard Shift. I recently watched The Graveyard Shift again. Really like that movie. That's a really creepy movie about this guy cleaning up, this cleanup crew underground in this like weird like factory kind of place. But a really, really cool movie. Same with Silver Bullet if you guys have never watched that movie. Really early Corey Haim movie, but really cool, like a werewolf movie. But all these ones are really cool in this one. Like I said, I wanted to let you guys know that these ones were available, brand new exclusive releases from FYE. And the first one I got here is from Arrow Video, and this is a movie which I've always loved. This movie, always thought too, it was such a creepy, atmospheric film. And it's kind of one of those movies you don't hear about too often, and it's an absolute must-watch. There's a film here called Alice, Sweet Alice. I absolutely love the new artwork on this one. It also has though the original artwork as well here, the original poster artwork as well for the movie, which I always thought was really cool artwork as well. This movie though, if you guys have not seen this, this is basically though, I believe this is the actual very first film that Brooke Shields acted in. And it's her character and her sister, who's Alice, who's the older sister, and Brooke Shields' character is going to her first communion, and the whole family is there for it and everything, kind of to watch the ceremony. And what ends up happening, though, is Brooke Shields' character ends up getting killed at the church. And it's kind of like this terrible death and everything. And the family and everything is kind of like trying to figure out who did it. And it's kind of like this whodunit film. But the signs are starting to look as if it could have been, Alice, who's, her older sister. So the family is kind of trying to face that maybe that, Alice is this killer. And kind of she acts a little weird to her sister. She always kind of acts a little weird all around. So it's kind of like I said, this whodunit thing where you're kind of wondering throughout this movie, could this be Alice? Could this be somebody else? Who is this? And it's like a really creepy, super atmospheric movie. Has a really, really great setting. Also, like the side characters in here as well are really creepy. There's like this really creepy guy who lives in the apartment complex, and it's one of those things too where it's kind of pointing at other people and making you kind of wonder. But really, like I said, all around a super creepy movie. It has on here though a brand new 2K restoration on here from the original camera negative for the theatrical version. It has a brand new commentary track on here with Richard Harlan Smith. Has an archival commentary on here with the director on here as well as the editor. It has Alfred Soul remembers Alice, Sweet Alice, him looking back at the film. It has on here though a brand new interview with the composer on here, a brand new interview with actor Niles McMaster on this one. It has the director's cousin on here, who's a filmmaker as well, looking back and talking about his connection to the film. It has on here the tour of the original location for the film here. It also has the alternate television cut of the movie, and also though in here too, it has a which is really cool. It has the actual poster on here as well. So it has the you know, the alternate. It has this image here of, you know, the mask and the raincoat, and as well as the new image here as well. So that's really cool that that's included in here. It also includes a booklet which has stuff about the movie. It also has another image here, which is a creepy image here, but it has, you know, some pictures in here from the movie, and that's why you don't know who the killer is, because they're wearing this mask, so it's kind of making you wonder. But it is a really, really creepy mask as well. This is like absolutely, like I said, an absolute must-watch film if you guys have never seen this one. And like I said, probably one of my favorite, like, you know, like a kind of super underrated movies, where I feel like everything in this movie like really worked. It was just a real perfect movie. And the next one here is from Arrow Video as well, and this is from the Arrow Academy line. This is one though that I just want you guys know was available. This is a trilogy here called the Akio Jissoji, I believe that's how you say it, the Buddhist trilogy. This has 3 different movies in here, and it has in here the 3 different movies are Poem, Mandala, as well as The Transient Life. And in here though, feature-wise, it has introduction to all 3 films by David Desser, author of Euros plus Massacre, and introduction to the Japanese New Wave. It has scene select commentaries on all 3 films by David Desser, as well as a 60-page, you know, bound book in here, which has writings on the films. I'll show you guys a little look inside here at the booklet that's in here, and it has, like, you know, like I said, some pictures from the films and all kinds of writings all about the productions and all that kind of stuff in here. Like I said, just want you guys to know that this set was available, and here's a look though at the discs that are in here as well. The first one here is the film Poem, as well as in here is the Transient Life, as well as Mandala. Hopefully I'm saying that one right. Like I said though, one of the guys know that this one was available from the Arrow Academy line. Now, the next one here is Shock Factory. It's a documentary here called What We Left Behind, looking back at Star Trek Deep Space Nine. This is actually, one of the directors of this is actually the one person who, he also presents the documentary and is responsible for, you know, bringing everyone together for this documentary, but he was the showrunner for Deep Space Nine. So he has, like, he was there for all the episodes and everything. And this is all, essentially though, like I said, a documentary all about the show, which, you know, the series of Deep Space Nine, which was kind of considered like the series that you don't hear about as often when it comes to Star Trek. You always hear about, you know, the original series, you know, from the 60s, and you hear about Next Generation, and then Star Trek, you know, Enterprise. Those are the ones you hear about a lot. Deep Space Nine, though, is the one that really is, like, not talked about as much, doesn't have as big of a fan base, and it's kind of like, you don't see it like on TV as often and that kind of stuff. And also, like, it was a much different series because it wasn't like them going to other planets every episode and that kind of stuff. It was kind of like them on the ship. And they talk a lot about that in this documentary, how it was very different. It was a much darker series, what was happening and everything. But basically what this documentary is, though, is, you know, him bringing together people who worked on the, you know, the crew, who were directors, writers in the show, cast members, and they're kind of all there coming together, talking all about their experiences making the show, talking about, like, behind the scenes memories, kind of like their thoughts too on how the series wasn't talked about as much, and kind of like some fans really didn't like this series because it was so different all around. It's kind of them all coming together, all talking about it, but it's really, really, really well done and, like, really well put together and everything. If you guys, like I said, are a fan of Deep Space Nine and Star Trek all around, this is definitely worth checking out. Has on here though an intro on here by one of the directors, like I said, the Ira, who's the showrunner, was the showrunner of the series. It has on here though a filmmaker HD discussion on here. It has more talking to the fans of the show. It has behind the scenes at the Variety photo shoot. It has deleted scenes. So lots and lots of features on this one here. The next one here is from Lionsgate. This is a movie that's based on a true story, and this is called Trial by Fire, which stars Jack O'Connell and Laura Dern. This is basically though about this guy in the very beginning of this movie. You see, like, he runs out of the house real fast because there's, like, a big cloud of smoke and his house is on fire, so he's running out kind of panicking, and then you see him kind of moving his car and moving things around and trying to break the window and get back in, and, like, the neighbor is kind of watching the whole thing. And then it ends up, you know, cutting to him in the police office, you know, being, you know, questioned by the police, and they're kind of like, well, what happened? Because, like, what happened though was his 3 kids ended up dying in this fire. So the police are kind of questioning him and kind of looking at him because he's kind of his character and the way he acts and everything, they're kind of looking at him like, what was going on here? Why did this happen? Why did he not get his kids out? And what we know, and then like the police are investigating, and they're kind of like making this assumption, saying that they believe that it was arson, and they believe that he started it. So he ends up going to court and being charged with murder, and of course, he ends up getting the death penalty. They find him guilty, even though the evidence is kind of weird, and like people are kind of telling, like, he's basically not giving a chance to really tell his side of the story at all, on the, when he's in court, and he's kind of like, people are in there telling these total lies that, people like inmates that he was with and stuff, because he yelled at the one inmate, so he was telling all these lies about him and everything. And essentially, though, it's about him in prison and the horrible stuff that he's going through with people, the people that work there and the jail prison guards and everything. And he's like writes this letter, and it ends up getting to Laura Dern's character, who is kind of trying to help him, trying to help figure out if there's any other types of evidence that they can figure out to try and get him out. And that's essentially what it is. He goes through a whole lot of other things as well, through other people as well, but it's essentially, though, about her sort of trying to help him. And it's a very, very emotional, really, really well acted movie here. But this one has on here, though, a photo gallery and a theatrical trailer, but like I said, really, really well put together. The next one here is from Lionsgate as well, and it's a movie here called, this stars Don Johnson, called Vault. This is basically, though, about these guys who are doing like small kind of robberies, and they're like kind of like small little kind of like convenience stores, and just kind of like small, like these brothers who are doing like small little kind of robberies to get money and everything, and they end up getting caught for one of the things that they did and end up going to prison. And it's basically, though, in prison, though, they end up meeting this one guy in there who is kind of like he's like he's sort of like, it's like the mafia is in the prison. The one guy is kind of like the head of the mafia, and they meet Don Johnson's character, who's kind of works for the guy, and he's not allowed to be in the mafia because he's not I think he's not Irish or something like that, and he's like French or something. Because of that, they won't like let him like be like in the group as like the head. He kind of just works for them and does like kind of like their errands and that kind of stuff. And because of that, Don Johnson's character is like really unhappy, and he's like, well, I can help you boys in prison, but I'm gonna you're gonna need to do something for me. You're gonna owe me a favor later when you get out, and I'm gonna get this job for you. And when they get out of prison, the job is they want them to end up robbing this like kind of like, it's like a place where it's like a front where they have like, I think it was like some kind of like a coat factory, but then they have like a vault in the basement of the place that hardly anyone knows about, but it's like for the mafia, and where they keep like their valuables and their money and certain things they kind of have to hide away and everything. And he wants them to kind of rob this, and he's going to give them a whole lot of money for doing it. So it's essentially, though, about these two guys trying to put together this robbery of breaking into this vault and trying to put together the team, and then figure out exactly how they're going to do the whole thing. And a lot of character actors pop up in this movie, but I actually thought this was kind of interesting. Like, it was like, if you guys like, kind of mob movies about breaking into things and like huge kind of robbery kind of movies and stuff like that, check this one out, though. Feature-wise, though, this has deleted scenes, it has behind the scenes, a commentary track on here with the director, as well as a theatrical trailer on this one. And the next one I got here is from Warner Brothers, and they sent over a free copy of this one to let you guys know that this one was available. Now, I will say with this movie, though, if you guys don't know about Pokemon, you don't know anything about the character of Pokemon or the series, the card game, or any of that, I feel like you'd still be able to understand this movie, because like I knew a little bit about it. Like, I had seen some episodes. I played like the Game Boy Color game and stuff like that, but I didn't really follow the series. But even not knowing a whole lot, I still really thought this was a fun movie. And this is Pokemon Detective Pikachu. This is the 4K Ultra HD edition here. This has the 4K, the Blu-ray, and a digital code. Also in here too, it actually has a Detective Pikachu card in here, so that's really cool. It's like a Poke card, Pokemon card in here. It's like, it has like the flare look to it, so that's really cool. That's included in here. But if basically, though, this movie is set like in a world where Pokemons like live with humans, and they kind of like everywhere, and everybody has like their Pokemon friend, essentially, that like they kind of pick their Pokemon friend, they kind of go everywhere with them and do things and like go on their adventures and that kind of stuff. That's essentially what it is. And it's about this one kid whose father is this cop, and he ends up actually working with, because in the cop force too, they have the cops and stuff working with Pokemon, helping with their detective business and everything. And but his father, though, something happens to this kid's father. He goes missing, and his partner shows shows up, and it's, you know, Pokemon, you know, it's Pikachu's character voiced by Ryan Reynolds, and his character, though, is actually talking, he can actually understand everything he's saying, and he's essentially, though, he's trying to solve the mystery of what happened to his father, and where he was taken, or where he is. Where is the father gone? He's, like I said, he's totally missing. He doesn't know he was taken away. He doesn't know what has happened, and it's basically, though, him on this mission trying to find his father. And it is a really, really fun movie, and also it's got really fun effects and stuff in here. Like, the effects were really well done of the Pokemon and everything. The story-wise was really fun as well. Like I said, even not knowing a whole ton about Pokemon, I still found this to be a really fun movie. On here, though, it has the, on the Blu-ray, it has the detective mode, which has Watch Pokemon Detective Pikachu like you've never seen it before, and discover a world of hidden clues, behind-the-scenes footage, pop-up trivia, Pokemon facts, fun featurettes, and Easter eggs. So it has like a pop-up version of the movie with things popping up that you can click on, and like trivia facts coming up and all that kind of stuff on here. Also has on here an alternate opening. It has on here Ryan Reynolds' Outside the Actor's Studio featurette. It has a music video, Mr. Mime's audio commentary on here, a bunch of other featurettes on the making of this movie, but a really, really fun movie. Like I said, definitely worth checking out. The next one here is from Warner Brothers as well. They sent over a free copy of this as well to let you guys know about. This is a film that's in the Conjuring universe, and this is The Curse of La Llorona, and I saw this in theaters as well. And I actually thought this was a pretty creepy movie. Like, it stars the actress, I never know how to say her name for sure. It's like Linda Cardellini. I always think of her from, you know, Freaks and Geeks, and then, you know, from, what do I say, Freaks and Geeks, Grandma's Boy, and of course, you know, the Scooby-Doo movies, playing Velma in the Scooby-Doo live-action movies. But she's been in lots of stuff, but like, the first thing I always think of is Freaks and Geeks. And this is basically, though, about her character, and she works for like child protective services, where she goes around, and if like she's worried about like kids' safeties and stuff like that, she goes and checks and does like welfare checks of the family and everything. And she goes to this one house where the kids haven't been seen for a while, and like it's like acting like they're kind of been locked away in this room and everything. And she goes there, and this mother is kind of acting really crazy, and she's saying like La Llorona and all this stuff, and like saying that, like, you know, she's gonna get them and everything, and she doesn't know, you know, her character is like figuring, what is going on here? The kids are locked away. She ends up rescuing them, but basically what ends up happening, though, is there's this possessed, you know, this woman there, this spirit La Llorona, who now, because she let them, you know, them out, these kids out, now the spirit's kind of come to her house and is coming after her kids. So it's kind of her dealing with this whole nightmare situation with her getting like her kids getting like, you know, all this creepy stuff going on with this woman, this spirit woman coming after her kids. And it kind of shows too in the beginning of this movie kind of more about the character of La Llorona and exactly like the you know, the origin story to all the thing. But there actually is some creepy stuff in here. This has on here, though, a bunch of different featurettes on here, a thing on here about Behind the Curse, the making of a monster movie, deleted scenes, and some storyboard stuff on here as well. But like I said, a pretty creepy movie. The next one here is from Warner Brothers as well. They sent over a free copy of this as well to let you guys know this is available. This is another 4K Ultra HD release here, and this has a 4K, a Blu-ray, and a digital copy. And this is the new Batman film from the DC you know, animated universe, and this is Batman Hush. And this was a fun movie. This is basically, though, about like Batman's character, and in here, though, you know, in the very beginning of this movie, you see him. It deals a lot with like Catwoman in here, and kind of like you know Selena Kyle, and like, you know, who's Catwoman, you know, out of the Catwoman wardrobe and everything, like that's like her real person. And basically, though, what ends up happening at the beginning of this movie, though, Bane is kind of like terrorizing the town, and he's like has some kind of a weird like injection going on, this kind of like something that's kind of making him much angrier and crazier than normal. And like it has to, you find out in the very beginning, it deals with like that something is going on here, and Poison Ivy characters in here as well. And it's basically, though, what's happening here is it's Batman is teaming up with Catwoman to try and go after, you know, Poison Ivy. And that's, without saying too much, that's kind of all you can say here. And it's kind of them sort of working together. And also, you know, Superman is in here as well. Like I said, I don't want to say too much of what goes on in here, but I really like that these films have like starting to get like real dark, you know, the vibes of these ones. And the animation really is some of the best animation. Like, these are so well animated. When it comes to 4K too, these these look, you know, this, I feel like animation really looks great on 4K. Like I was going to say too, with Pokemon, I didn't mention too, 4K wise though, this looks great on 4K. It's a huge special effects movie. It's like really, really great effects in here. So really, really looks great on 4K. So if you guys have 4K capacities though, definitely would recommend that. But when it comes to Batman Hush as well, this one looks so good on 4K. And it's also like the stylistic and the look of this. It has like some of it has sort of a noir kind of look a little bit, and like I feel like too the contrast levels is the one thing you notice in 4K. Same with Pokemon, you know, Detective Pikachu. You notice a whole lot of that with the contrast levels. Also, all around too, I always have said in the past too, it's much brighter picture all around. On here though, it has a DC short, Sergeant Rock, as well as on here a commentary with the filmmaker. It has a sneak peek of the next DC Universe animated film, which is Wonder Woman Bloodlines. Has on here a bonus cartoon, but like I said, really thought this was a cool movie. The next one here is from the Warner Archive, and this is the Movie Zing, is where you guys can order this one on moviezing.com. I'll have a link below to their website. The next like 3 ones are from Movie Zing. Like I said, this is a Warner Archive collection release, and this comes out August 20th is when this one releases. Now this one is one of those things that when I heard that this was releasing, I was so excited because this is one of those movies that I've been waiting for to come to Blu-ray forever. It's like one of my all-time favorite movies. I remember watching this as a kid, and I remember every time the Grand High Witch scene would happen, I would leave the room and like would be scared to death. And it was like one of those things that scared me so much. Like I even like did a video of like things like the most scary things as a kid, and this was like one of the top ones. But the movie here is The Witches, which I know the remake of this is being made now. It's starring Anne Hathaway. So honestly, and Guillermo del Toro is behind that as well. I think he's producing it, which I'm really interested in seeing that, honestly. But to me, I don't feel like anything will top the original. The original movie is amazing. Everything about this movie is amazing. The cast is amazing. Rowan Atkinson is in this movie, you know, playing like the kind of like the head manager of the hotel. But this is basically though about this mom, you know, this kid and her, and you know, kid and his grandmother, who, basically in the beginning of the movie though, this kid's parents died in this car accident, so he's living now with his grandmother, and they're kind of, you know, she knows that how upset he is about his parents dying, and she kind of wants to like kind of be easy on him and kind of like just sort of let them sort of chill out a little bit because of he's not in a great state about the whole thing. So they're kind of taking little trips and stuff, and they take this trip to this hotel, which is like this real amazing giant seaside hotel. And when he's there though, you see all these women coming there in the very beginning, and you see Angelica Houston's character is kind of like the head of all these women that are coming there, and it's this women's kind of conference to help children. Of course, though, it's the witches coming there, these horrible witches, and like, you know, the grandmother though was always telling the kids stories though. Luke, the kid who's the kid, all these stories about witches and how she had a witch encounter when she was a kid, and I'll say that story in the beginning that she tells too, that painting. Like, I never because of that movie, to this movie too, there's like this painting about a character that misses and moves around the painting. Like, there's certain paintings I've never liked because of this movie. Like when I think of like some of my earliest fears, I think of like certain paintings from this because of this movie. Lots of things from this movie really always creep me out, and I think of today. Like in this movie, like the character Luke, who goes to the hotel, he, you know, goes and explores the hotel and wanders around and looks in these weird like rooms he shouldn't go into. Ever since I was a kid, because of this, I did the same thing. Every hotel I ever went to, I would go exploring it, walk around, kind of peek in rooms I shouldn't have gone in because of this movie. So I've always loved this movie. But basically, though, what happens though is he's there lurking around and, you know, kind of going in the rooms he shouldn't, and then the group of all the witches that are staying there come into the room, and he ends up turned into a mouse because of him spying. And it's kind of about what goes on in this hotel, and he has to figure out how to change back. And also another kid changes, Bruno Jenkins, which is like one of my favorite characters ever. He's like, "This woman promised me 4 balls of chocolate, and I've come to collect." If you don't know, I'm obsessed with this movie, and I've been obsessed with the movie since I was 5 or whenever it was when it released. I've always been obsessed with this movie. I always loved this movie. It looks absolutely amazing on Blu-ray. It's a great transfer here. Honestly, an absolute, if you guys have never seen this movie, you know, absolute must watch. Like I said, honestly, I cannot tell you how excited I am that this is finally on Blu-ray. Yes, The Witches finally has a Blu-ray release August 20th, and like I said, so excited about this. And the next one here is from Movie Zing as well, and this is also a Universal release, and this is another movie which I love, which is a really underrated movie called Fierce Creatures. And this has a lot of the cast who was in, A Fish Called Wanda, came together for this movie as well. And this is one of those movies, too, that I remember the first time I saw this in theaters, I was obsessed with this movie. Another one that I absolutely love. I've watched this movie so many times. I especially love Kevin Kline in here because he's playing two roles. And he's like, you're no son of mine. Another one of those, like, it's funny, this video has, like, two obsession movies of mine. This is another one. This is basically, though, about, Jamie Lee Curtis's character who kind of works for Kevin Kline's father, who's, like, this super rich businessman, and he like buys properties and stuff, and he bought this zoo in England, and it's a zoo that's kind of been struggling on hard times and not doing too well, and she's kind of been sent there to kind of evaluate it and see if they can do any sponsorships or what they can kind of do to sort of save this zoo and make it profitable. And her son, his son comes along, which is Kevin Kline, Kevin Kline's father. Like I said, he plays both roles, plays the father, and then Kevin Kline, who's playing the son, and he comes along because he really likes Jamie Lee Curtis's character and thinks that they have like a chance of a relationship together. So he's kind of coming along, kind of bothering her, being like kind of skeevy and weird and everything. And like it's basically he's there, kind of doesn't care about animals, doesn't care about the zoo. He's just there to bother Jamie Lee Curtis's character, and it's all about the go-ons at the zoo, and then like the kind of wacky characters that work there, and them sort of trying to make sure the zoo doesn't close. And they get into all sorts of problems. And John Cleese is in here, playing this great role. This is, like I said, another movie. If you guys have never seen this one, I feel like this is a movie that's like a really under the radar film. If you guys have never watched this one, definitely, check this one out. And the next one here is from Movie Zing as well, and this is also from Blue Fox Entertainment, is the company that released it. This is a movie here called Saving Zoe. And this actually stars two sisters, real-life sisters in here. This is basically, though, about the one older sister. In the beginning of this movie, you find out that, something had happened to her and she ended up dying. And, they were saying how she was killed by this guy and this guy was charged with it. But the younger sister is like thinking, I don't know, this seems weird to me. The whole thing, it sounds like there's more to the story here. And she had this journal, the older sister who died had this journal that she was writing. And she was kind of writing her stories and what she was going through and everything. And the sister ends up spotting this journal and the one guy that knew her car, and like she ends up getting the journal back and starts reading it and starts to kind of discovering things about the sister and kind of hearing about things that she was going through and things that she was doing. And it's kind of her sort of trying to see if she can figure out more to what had really happened, if maybe, because like I said, she's kind of thinking that there may be more to this whole thing, that this may not be the way that it seems, may not exactly be right. So it's kind of her going through this whole thing. Also, it's about all the kind of things that she's going through in school, going through in her own life and everything. But another one, so a really interesting, character piece, kind of mystery film here. And the next one I got here is from Movie Zing as well, and this is also a Lionsgate title. This is a Lionsgate burn-on-demand Blu-ray release for the film Rock, Paper, Scissors, which is directed by Tom Holland. And, Tom Holland directed, Fright Night, the original Child's Play, done lots and lots of stuff. I always really like his movies, and this was a really cool movie. This is basically, though, about this guy who ends up, as a serial killer. In the beginning of the movie, he gets arrested, by Michael Madsen's character, and put in, and they kind of got trialed and everything, and he's because they think that he's crazy because he's talking about his brother and like they believe he's like got split personality and everything. He gets put into the insane asylum. When he's there, though, Tatum O'Neal's character is his therapist and his doctor there, and she says, she believes that he's finally cured, and he's like kind of believes now that he knows that, he was crazy, and that it was him that did it, and it wasn't his brother, and all these things that he's saying. So he ends up getting released from prison, but like right before, though, he ended up, getting put into the insane asylum. Michael Madsen's character was really angry about this because he wanted him to go to jail and get the death penalty and everything. And he's like, the second you get out of prison, I'm going to be watching you. I'm going to be following you. I'm going to come for you. I'm going to be looking for you everywhere you go. And of course, though, when he goes back to his house, where he originally grew up, this guy who was released, Michael Madsen's character, moves in next door and is kind of spying on him and watching him. There's also this woman who moves in nearby as well, who's like trying to do a journalist to do a story on this guy, because there was never really much story done fun because he never really talked about the killings or anything. So she's there kind of posing as a neighbor, trying to get close to him and get information and everything. This guy, though, who is released, he starts, though, little by little, starts kind of cracking up more, and he's having memories of the past and everything. So it's kind of about him trying not to crack back up, again. But in here, though, it also has a bunch of different cameos in here, like Ari Lehman is in here, who played, the first Jason in Friday the 13th. Who else is in here? There was Maureen McCormick is in this movie as well. So a bunch of different cameos in here, but I actually thought this was a really, really cool film here. The next one here, this is the one that gets a top recommendation. This is from Cinedigm. This is a must-watch movie called Teacher. This one here stars, hopefully I can say his name right, David Dastmalchian. I don't know how to say his name, 100% sure, but also stars Kevin Pollak. But the David Mashat, like I said, I'm saying his name totally wrong, but he's been in everything. He's been in, like, Gotham. He was in the newest Twin Peaks series, Prisoners, all kinds of stuff. He's like a great character actor who's in lots and lots of different things. And he plays this teacher in this school. And he's basically, though, in the school, though, he has this, he's kind of noticing because when he was younger, he was bullied really bad, and they cut to the very beginning of him getting bullied and dealing with all this horrible stuff that he was going through. And now that he's this teacher at the school, he's noticing bullying. He's noticing this one student who's like a really good student. He's getting picked on really bad by this one jock there who's like the real popular kid. And then this other girl is getting picked on as well, and like the boy who's getting picked on starts to kind of like this girl, and they kind of become friends and start seeing each other and everything. And they're picking on them horribly, and all this kind of horrible stuff is happening. And it's basically, though, Kevin Pollak's character, though, he plays the father to the one kid who's doing all the bullying. And his character, too, he plays this really terrible kind of like mean, like the way he's acting. Like he's one of those kind of like guys who's like says it and he's like, there's no other way. His word is the only way and everything. And he's like, kind of starts talking to the teacher kind of weird too, the way he's acting to him and everything. And I can't say too much more about this whole thing, but essentially, though, this teacher, though, is kind of in the middle of some bad things that are happening, and he's kind of like starting to kind of little by little, it's kind of making him kind of crack up. And it's just amazing performances all around. The thing that was really cool on here, though, is it includes the 2016 short film Teacher, which was the basis of this movie. It was like a 20-minute movie, and what was cool was the actor who was playing the teacher in that one has a role in the feature version, playing this like kind of like weird guy at the bar who's like trying to pick up the one guy's like the main teacher's going on this date, and he's kind of like bothering her. So it was kind of cool to see him in it again. And then the kid who was the bully in the short film also plays the bully in this film. So it was really cool too to see like the differences. But definitely watch the short afterwards. And I also like the teacher had this kind of like theme that he was always listening to, like in his car, or like it was like this sort of synth music that he was always listening to, and it was kind of like making me think of the Todd Saunders movie Dark Horse, how like the one guy when he's driving his car, he always listened to that one like pop song, or at least they were always playing that pop song all the time, and it kind of had that kind of vibe to it a little bit. But this is also an extremely emotional movie. It is like very, very, very sad, dark material going on here, but really, really, really well done. Like I said, highly recommend you guys check this one out. Check out the trailer, but like I said, love this one so much. And it has on here, like I said, the short film, which is definitely a must-watch, as well as deleted scenes and theatrical trailers on this one. And the next ones here are all from Mill Creek, and the first three Mill Creek ones are all from their retro slipcover line, that are look like old school retro VHS tapes. The first one here is The New Kids, and then there's Roxanne, as well as White Line Fever, and I'll show you guys a closer look at these ones as well. Now, New Kids, though, this is the one I was most excited about. This is one of these super underrated movies you don't hear about too often, and it's, the first time it's ever been released on Blu-ray before, and the DVD of this one has been out of print a long time. It's one of those rare ones you don't come across too often, or didn't come across too often, so really cool this one now has a Blu-ray release. I'll show you guys a closer look at this, but I really love the way these VHS, old school VHS style slipcovers are designed, because it has like to look like the tape here, then it has like R-rated here, and it's all kind of aged and everything. And on the side too, it looks just like the tape as well. It has like the actual thing that was on the tape that says the movie title. Underneath though, it also has alternate artwork as well for this one. This was the artwork that was on the DVD. This movie, though, stars Lori Loughlin and James Spader. And James Spader is really creepy. He's like this terrible, terrible guy in this movie. This is basically all about Lori Loughlin's character and her brother. Their parents died in the beginning of this movie, and their uncle ended up taking them in, and they went to live with their uncle, kind of out in the middle of nowhere. In the area that they moved to. The uncle, though, has this, like, kind of, gas station convenience store, but, like, his dream is to get his, amusement park going. He has, like, a Christmas Land amusement park that's kind of real dilapidated. It's, like, all kind of old rides, and he's trying to get it going. So the kids who come there, help him try and, to live there and also try and help get the place going. But when they're there, though, this group of these bad kids that's headed up by James Spader, they're like harassing them, and they really like Lori Loughlin's character, and she doesn't want anything to do with them. So basically, though, they're making their lives like a living hell, and like messing up the amusement park and causing all sorts of problems. And it's pretty much just like this nightmare situation they're all going through, but a really, really cool movie. Eric Stoltz is in this movie as well, and it's right before Back to the Future. And you could see how he was originally cast in, Back to the Future, like the way he looked and everything. He really did look like Michael J. Fox. And, if you guys know the story of that, he was originally cast, and they shot, like, 2 months or something like that with him. You only ever saw like a little bit of the footage, but at this time, this is like right before he would have done, the Back to the Future stuff. So he definitely had that look and everything. But this is one highly, highly recommend you guys check this one out. Now, the next one here is the movie that stars Steve Martin and Daryl Hannah, and it's Roxanne. Here's a look though at the slipcover on this one, and it has comedy, romance, be kind, rewind here, and like the side is, like I said, like the tape here, and then the side is just like the VHS were. I think these are really cool the way these are designed. And here's the alternate artwork as well on this. Now, this movie, though, is basically, though, about Steve Martin's character, who is this, this fire captain. And, he, his character, though, has this gigantic nose. And it's kind of like this sore subject to him. And, like, he's always kind of dealing with this. And he's never really had relationships because of the nose. He's real self-conscious and everything. And Daryl Hannah's character, is new in town. Or he hasn't really noticed her before. And she just kind of moved in recently. And he's, like, ends up helping her one day. She gets locked out of the house. And he starts to kind of like her. And there's all kind of confusions that he thinks that she likes him as well. But it's all, like, she likes the other guy that works for him at the firehouse, and she's trying to get with him, and he's trying to help her, but at the same time he's in love with her. It's kind of this whole thing going on, but it's a really, really fun, sweet film. Always a fan of Steve Martin and Daryl Hannah. So if you guys know another one, if you guys have not seen this one, check this one out. And the other one is a movie that stars Jan Michael Vincent, which I want you guys to know was available as well. This one here is called White Line Fever. Now the other two were both 80s films. This movie is from 1975, I believe, and I don't think this one was ever released on on Blu-ray in the past. As far as I know, I don't believe so. Roxanne was released on Blu-ray years and years back, but I really, like I said, love the slipcovers. Transfer-wise, though, all these ones look really good to me, and I thought New Kids as well looked really good. Like I said, this has only ever been on DVD, so like that was the only, and I didn't even have the DVD because like I said, it was out of print, and one of those ones you didn't come across too much. The next two here are TV related from Mill Creek, and this is on the show Pan Am, the complete series. This show aired, I believe it started airing in 2011, and then it and then continued on to like into early 2012. This is around the time too they also had that show called like the Playboy Club, I believe, and I think it was airing like at the same time as this one. I remember this show really well because it was being promoted at the time at Comic-Con, and they were giving out like these kind of bags. And this is also Margot Robbie is the star of this show, and Christina Ricci, but this is before Margot Robbie became like popular or known in the U.S. She had done like some stuff in Australia and everything, but this is before she was known here. So this is like the first big thing that she did. And then like 2 years after, I believe it was, she did Wolf of Wall Street. And this one though was not the greatest show or anything, but it was kind of interesting. And I remember watching this a little bit when it was on. But like I said, this is the complete series, and this is basically though about the long defunct airline Pan Am. and it's about the girls that work on the airline, and it kind of follows their character. And like one of the characters is like doing some spy business, and there's like this spy aspect going on, and you kind of also like find out more and more like in flashbacks about the characters, about their own like their lives and the stuff they're going through, and then it goes through like the people that come on the plane and all that kind of stuff. I always love Christina Ricci as well, so this is a, you know, like I said, an interesting show here that one of you guys know was available here. And this is a 2-disc set which has all the episodes of the series, because like I said, it only aired for one season. And the last Mill Creek one, and this is a movies collection here. It's a movies and murder collection. It's all 8 of the made-for-TV movies from the Heart to Heart series. And I never actually saw Heart to Heart, the actual series. I know I had heard of it. These movies though were all from the 90s, so they were like, they did a whole bunch of these back to back. They were from 1993 to 1996, and they did 8 different movies here. So if you guys are a fan of the Heart to Heart series, you know this stars Robert Wagner. Robert Wagner. I want to let you guys know that this one was available as well from Mill Creek. The next set here is from Time Life Releasing, and you guys can get this from their Time Life website. And I'll show you guys a look inside here as well. This is the collection here, which is the best of the Carol Burnett show. It's here in this cool big box set here. Like I said, this is from Time Life Releasing, and I'll show you guys a look inside. It has a booklet in here which goes through all the years of Carol Burnett, and kind of like has like a timeline about like the episodes, and like kind of like big, like with characters were seen during certain times, and kind of like what was going on at the time period, sketch wise. And it talks about like the guest stars they were on these specific seasons and these specific episodes and all that kind of stuff. But it's a really well designed booklet here, and like I said, it goes through all the years that this show was on here. And like the one character in here too was the Mama's Family character. That's how the Mama's Family character started, was on this show. Then it spun off a couple years later. I think it was in the 80s, I believe it came on. But I remember as a kid really watching Mama's Family. Like that was a show I really liked a lot. But like I said, this booklet here goes through all that. And it has in here, it's a 3 different volume sets here. The first one here is the best of the Carol Burnett show, and it has a 32 episodes from all 11 seasons, and it has a bunch of different guest stars in this set here, like Lucille Ball, Rita Hayworth, Rock Hudson, Mel Tormer, Cara Reiner on here, and it has like featurette kind of stuff, interviews, all that kind of stuff in here. This one here, this specific set is like I said, the 50th anniversary set. Also has in here the best of the Carol Burnett show. The second volume here, which is a 10-disc set as well, which is, this one has 27 episodes. This one here has 32 episodes. For the one that has 7 episodes has guest stars like Bob Newhart, Don Rickles, Sammy Davis Jr., Lily Tomlin, Flip Wilson, Burt Reynolds. It has like movie parodies on here. It has like I said, features like backstage, tour, cast reunion, newly produced featurettes. So all kinds of stuff. Also, it has a booklet in here as well, which has like episode guides about the specific episodes that are in here, and talking about the guest stars. So really, really great set. Now also though, it has, which is really cool, it has the full complete last episode, the final show, which was when the final show right before the show ended. And it has on here the sketches on here. It has like guest stars Liza Minnelli, Perry Como, Rock Hudson, Burt Reynolds, Rita Hayworth, Dick Van Dyke. It has on here though newly produced featurette talking about the last episode of this on here. Like I said, one of you guys know this one's available from Time Life, and a really cool new set here. And the next 3 ones are all from MVD, and these are ones that I just want you guys know were available. And this is from MVD and a company here called Liberation Hall. This is a seldom seen film from 1978, skateboarding film here called Skateboard, which is Leif Garrett's first film. And this one here, I really love the poster on this one. But this one here, feature-wise though, this has a commentary track on here with Gage George and Tony Alva, as well as interviews with Gage George and Tony Alva. It has a theatrical trailer, a photo gallery of lobby cards and posters on this one. Like I said though, one of you guys know this one was available. This one here is from MVD, as well as Cleopatra Entertainment. This is a documentary here on the band Anti-Nowhere League, and it's called Anti-Nowhere League, We Are the League. And this is the true story of the UK's most notorious punk band. This is a special edition one here, which has the DVD as well as an audio CD in this one. And it has the audio CD has 19 tracks of previously unreleased 1982 live performances. And feature-wise, though, it has an additional interview footage on this one. This is a documentary that has like archival footage, interviews and stuff like that, all about, Anti-Nowhere League. And this one here is from MVD as well. And this is from Juno Films. And this is a movie here, which is a Blu-ray DVD combo from the BFI, National Archive restoration of the film here, Shirez, A Romance of India here. Like I said, one of the guys know that this one was available as well. This one has, feature-wise, it's presented in high definition and standard definition. It has a restoration demonstration on here. It has musical instruments of India. It has public information made by the government of India to promote arts and culture as one of the features on this one. Like I said, this is a 2-disc set which has a Blu-ray and a DVD of the film here. And the next one here is from SRS Cinema, and this is a really rare, never before released, I don't think it's ever been released before, shot on video film here from 1993 called The Hidden. And I really love the way this is designed to look like a VHS. Has like on here the sticker that says horror, on the back it says be kind, rewind. But this one was shot on Video 8, which I think it was like the format of video that was like the little small handy cams that was right before High 8 came out a couple years later. Because I remember that was the first video camera I ever had. So like the little things I used to make, the little shorts and stuff like that when I was a kid, like those ones, like I think I had that camera in like 1998, and I think that was when the High 8 came out, maybe a little bit before that. But this is basically, though, a film that's about like this creature that's living in these tunnels, these underground tunnels, that ends up eating this guy who is like, doing drugs, and then he becomes like, the creature becomes like addicted to drugs, and he's going after, trying to get more drugs sort of, and it's kind of also like the cartel group and everything, and it's kind of they're getting killed off, and it's kind of like a mystery of who is it and everything. It was actually just a really, really fun shot on video film. It also has on here, though, a bunch of different bonus trailers as well, because I believe SRS Cinema, because this is from their SRS home video line, and I believe they're going to be releasing a lot more, shot on video horror titles. The next one here, this is from a company here called SMG, and this is a movie here called Ride or Die. I thought this was a pretty cool movie. This is about like this guy who drives like a Lyft kind of service or an Uber kind of service, and he's getting ready to go home, but he ends up getting one more fare right before he's going, and he's like calling his girlfriend saying, I'll be home soon, but I have this one more ride to do. And it was kind of like a bad decision, though, to pick up this guy. And he picks this guy up. And he's like asking him, like, where do you want me to go? He's like, oh, straight to hell. And he's like, oh, what? Oh, no, take me to this area first. And this guy, though, he's acting really strange that he picks up. And the first place that he takes him, he goes in there and he has like these papers, and he kills this guy with a pen in his ear. And it's kind of like, that this guy, there's something really bad about this guy that he picked up. And of course, the guy that's driving doesn't know this. And it's kind of about like throughout this night, it's all about the things that are going on, and things get like worse and worse and worse for what's going on. And like the guy, like this is like maybe 10 minutes into the movie, the guy to the driver like takes the gun out and says, you're going to do what I say, and you're going to do this, and it just becomes like this absolute nightmare of a night for this guy driving around and everything. This one, it's a short film too. It's only I think it's only 47 minutes long, but it was, like I said, actually a pretty cool movie and a pretty cool concept on this one. And the next one here is from Ultra Innocence. It's a movie here called Tiger Milk. This is a German film, and this is, it's called Tiger Milk though because it's about the drink that these girls are always drinking, which is like, I think it's like orange juice mixed with like a liquor and then milk all together. It's like this thing that they're always drinking. And this is a like a coming of age film all about these girls during the summer. It's kind of all the stuff that they're going through, and like kind of like their relationships they're trying to have, and all these certain things. But there's also, as much as they're trying to have like this really great summer, there's also the one friend though, there's all this concern though that because of something was filed with the paperwork wrong, that they're worried that she's going to get deported back to Iraq, where she's, her mother is from, where they were originally from, but she's been here for years, but there's all this concerns that she's going to get sent back. So kind of like the summer is all in this kind of like, there's all this sort of stress going on about the whole thing. And like I said, it's all kind of about the things that they go through during the summer and like all the kind of, you know, just stuff, all the stuff that's going on. But it's a really, really well done character piece here. Like I said, this is from Altered Innocence. The next one here, I'll have a link where you guys can order this one. And this is a lost shot-on-video film called Metal Noir. And this is a crazy movie. And like the best part about it was this guy who's kind of like a Howard Stern kind of guy. He's like, yeah, girl. And he kind of like has like this Valley Girl kind of way of talking. And it's like, he's kind of coming over. But it's basically about this woman who like is like staying in this house to try and write this book. And he's always coming over, kind of bothering her, going, so babe, you want to go out and have a lot of fun later? You know, just like kind of crazy. And he's like really like kind of sort of annoying the way he's like kind of bothering her. And she's like, oh well, maybe later. He's like, oh, come by a little later. How about I come by like next, like maybe like 2 days from now? Does that sound good? All this kind of stuff. And like basically though, something happened in this house that she's like renting, and someone had died there, and like he basically like killed himself in this crazy way, like that with satanic kind of things. And now though, in this place, weird things are starting to happen, and like whatever it was there is kind of coming back now. It's just a really, really wacky, ridiculous movie. And like I said, it's shot on video. It's one of those movies they kind of restored, and they kind of found the footage of trying to put this movie back together. It has though a commentary track on here with the director, commentary track on here with one of the actors. It has a shot on video, the True Independence episodes, behind the scenes still gallery, Meta Noir trailer. It also has trailers for other you know, shot on video horror releases. But yeah, but the website is called www.sovhorror.com. That's the website. But anyway, though, guys, that's all for the review portion of this video. Thanks again for watching.